Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video I've got some limecreting to do. I'm going to get set up and I'll tell you all about it. Yep, still haven't got my boot fixed. Should do that. We've got some nice clean granite. Now, I normally buy it in bulk in the trailer, but I've got sand on the trailer. And this was only €2 something a bag. It was on offer, so yeah, grabbed a few of them. Let's head inside. Let me explain. Nice to be outside today, nice and sunny. Never mind. Next, I want to turn my attention to the base of the wall here. And I've already put some stone and reinforcing in, but I still need to finish off the base before I can start rendering. A little bit of tidying up to do as usual. Got to move that to one side. A little bit of shuttering, get my mix going. We'll get this nicely secured. So at the moment you can still see the clay. Just there is the clay. We need to haunch it up and then I can continue rendering. I'm going to bring it out a little bit and then we're going to create a bit of a shuttering and then fill that up with some limecrete. Again, allowing it to breathe should there be any moisture in that area, which I know there is. Now the whole idea of using the lime is to allow any trapped moisture to freely pass through it. I haven't got any DPC down, no plastic, not in the floor. The ground level is that high on the outside of the wall. So all of this is underground. Now there is moisture there. I have put a plastic membrane on the outside to stop any ingress coming in. But any moisture in the ground and in the wall, I want it to freely evaporate out. You know, this building didn't have any DPC or anything like that. It had clay floor and any moisture in there freely come out. Now I don't know what the living conditions were like back then. May have been horrendous, that's why I moved out, I don't know. I'm gambling on the old traditional way. So I'm just going to use lime. And hopefully it will just breathe and no moisture will build up. Now, fast forward to the next winter, it might be different, I don't know, you know, part of the fun of it really, but I'm sure it'll be all right. There just won't be any build up, you know, if I put a membrane down, where's the moisture going to travel to? Up the walls, because there's no damp proofing in the base of the walls, and I could just move the problem elsewhere. Anyway, we're going to get all this moved away and see what we're dealing with. Now, I've got these lovely old doors from Billy Peverick, a friend of mine. He gave them to me, very kind of him. I was out of the convent, he's renovating, if you don't already know, check out his channel, the Pevericks. As I look at them, I think, yeah, maybe I could use them in here, grade them all out. Those that are broken, they'll be the ones that I'll take apart. They're all peg jointed, so they do literally come apart in pieces. So I won't actually be destroying anything, which I don't like to do. I'll sort out what doors I want to use here, maybe upstairs and a few other places. And then the broken ones, put to one side, and then I'll work out where I can use it around the cottage. Definitely not going to destroy any. That's one side. Now this door here, I was toying with the idea of using it as the main front door. It's going to need quite a bit of work. It would let some light in. And I did come up with the idea of maybe making an external shutter, like some of these buildings have already got on the outside. So that would work for the winter as well. So that's another possibility. I don't like to rush into these things. I think the best option, sometimes look at the finances, they can often dictate to what you have to do. Oh, that's good quality, weighs a ton. That's where the level went. Now, I went to an antique fair the other day, as I do. I chanced across some of these panels. If you haven't already seen that video, link will be in the description for that one. I've got 3 of these panels and they were €30. Cast, and the emblems on there are from the Breton flag. Now, that would have gone to the left of the fireplace. There's a top section and then obviously the return. But when you lay them out on the ground they don't line up, but that's because they would have been angled at a 45 degree. Sort of like that, instead of like that. But I'm not going to use them for fire surround. I'm going to use them for a splashback in the kitchen area. Something like that. Got 2 of these. That could run the length across here. And the other top plate I may use, it's kind of like a trivet set into the worktop near the cooker, so any hot pans or anything like that. Just put it straight on without burning the timber. We'll get that cleaned up as well. See what that looks like. Let's march on. What I'll probably do is just use length of 3x2 just as the edging for the shutter, and then level this off. And I may have to think about putting something else on top of that, backfilling the cavity just to hold back the base of this wall. Now, whether it be concrete blocks like so, now they'll be full of lime and lime all around them, so there won't be any moisture trapped in there. It will give me something very strong and sturdy to build from. Now, I've got to incorporate a sink in this area, which will be sitting on some stone pillars. I think that would certainly help. Yeah, I'm keen to reinforce this area. Once again, everything I do is reinforcing basically. It crosses over with reinforcing and trying to make it flat and level for modern conveniences, really. I wasn't that bothered about flat and level back in the day, believe it or not, as you can see. So yeah, that might be an option. The other option is a timber beam. But whatever I decide to do, first I have to create a very solid, flat and level base for it, and that will need time to go off and cure. Okay. Spot on. Yeah, there's a bit of undulation there. I was restricted by the size of stones that I could use, really. But we can always fill that. That will definitely work. Okay, what's the lighting like? I'll never know whether to set my lights up because sometimes it creates a shadow. It's not always the best option. There is a bit of natural light coming through. Okay, we'll see how we go. It is the darkest corner. Does that help? Yeah, maybe if I hoist that high up. It may be that I use a few rows of block through here just to be a retainer for the wall. And then in front of that, maybe leave this section in, which is going to form part of the shuttering. I can build a low wall underneath that, so we can block off all the ugly pipes and everything that's going to run left to right behind this wall. Yeah, I'm keen to secure all this area, and I think this will be the way to do it. I'll have a clean up, get all this prepared, wet down, get a mix going. This is our water pipe in. Okay, Certainly give this corner a bit of strength. Ouch! One side. I'm only interested in coming halfway across underneath the main beam because there's going to be a vertical post there tied in with the beam. So this shuttering can terminate in the middle there, and then I'll work out what I'm going to do there when it comes to being done. But for now it's just this kitchen section. Okay, mask on, get sweeping. Put the dust down. Boy, will it be nice when I've got a nice flat level floor in here. Yeah, it's quite undulated. Be no good for carpet bowls at the minute, but we'll get there. Yep. I've just put some temporary bracings on so that the timber doesn't move. That way we get a nice flat and level finish. Okay, we're making good progress. It is surprisingly hot outside. Don't know where that come from. Ooh. We're checking on those cats in a minute. We've put them outside. They've got shade, so they're okay. Such a good feeling, building up the layers and knowing that it's fixing the base of this wall. The last few days I've been trying to catch up in the garden. You know, sun, rain, you get the idea. Before you know it, you know, you've got some hard work on your hands. Anyway, I've got on top of that now, so it's just a case of plodding on with this. I'm going to taper it off here because that will be another section underneath the beam above. I'm just concentrating on this side at the moment. Now whenever I'm mixing up, I always have an area I think, right, okay, if I've got any mix left over, where can it go? And it's going right in here. Just don't like chucking anything away, especially if I've gone to all that effort of mixing it up. A piece like this go down to there, and that way we can backfill and put another cross piece here, and then we can just continue up with that dry lining. Okay, time to check in on our furry friends. Hello. Yeah, as usual, you two are out playing. Mummy cat has somehow got in the box and the door's shut. Maybe she's hiding from the mischievous ones. And Danny normally has the high bunk somewhere. He's probably jumped out of one of them. Yeah. Now, just in case you've locked Mummy in that box, oh no, here she comes. She's alright. I thought the door was shut. You've been naughty. Yeah. I'll sit in the shade then. Be back in a little while. I've been out and bought some of this Zebralin. I normally call it Zebrite, but maybe they've changed the name. That's for blacking your cast iron, like your fires, wood burners, and any other metalwork. Get a great finish, doesn't look sort of too new, and it just stops things rusting. Now this does work better when there hasn't been a finish applied to the metal before, but we could probably get most of that off. It's just a little test really. I don't like it when it's too shiny. Now this is messy stuff. You should have gloves on. I'm about to put mine on. I normally apply it with a soft brush. Don't need a great deal. Let's get my gloves on. Sometimes referred to as grate polish. It might need mixing in the tube. Sometimes it separates. Yeah. Sometimes they change the name and the consistency of it, and it's not quite what it used to be for whatever reason. Let's give it a go. Wouldn't normally put this much on. And we find that whenever they change something, it's never as good as the original. And this comes up rather dark at first, but once it's polished you get a very pleasant kind of glow, if you like, finish. It doesn't look like a paint finish. You'll see what I mean in a moment. That's better. Sure if this is going to work. Let's try it. Already we can see a clear difference, can't we? Yeah, I think the rest of it will be done with a rag by hand. Your hands and knees. Glamorous life, eh? Yeah, that's better. It's not ideal how I'm doing it on the ground. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm well pleased with these. 3 panels like that, probably 150-year-old, maybe older. €30 for the 3. Whew. I did take some lifting back to the car because I was probably a kilometre and a half away from it, but it was well worth it. Okay, that is it for this video. I'm going to crack on with some gardening and I'll see you back in the cottage in the next one. Bye for now.